Honorable Chair, I rise to report that a quorum does exist for the select committee to commence business.
Thank you very much, Secretary. Honorable members, it is reported that a quorum does exist for the select committee on health to commence business. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. So the ayes have it. Thank you very much, and then welcome you all to our today's committee meeting. Honorable members, subject matter specialists, members of the correct technical staff, likewise our esteemed stakeholders from the Pharmaceutical or Pharmacy Society, the Gambia, and also importers, pharmaceutical importers. We welcome you all to our today's meeting. We apologize for the time being because our mics are yet to work. They are presently working on them. As you know, we are currently on session, so that's why all the concentration is on that. So thank you very much, and I welcome you all to our today's meeting. Before going further, I would like us to introduce ourselves, starting with my humble self. I am Honorable Amun Kama, the chairperson of the committee.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Honorable Bodo, President of the Select Committee on Health.
Honorable Montano, member for Academic Constituency, and the same time member to this committee.
Good afternoon, Honorable Musa Abadi, member for Tarinim Punjab Constituency, also a member of this committee.
Good afternoon, Honorable Ami Koli, member of this committee, and I'm from Foni Brevet.
Good afternoon, I'm Honorable Jibim Balo of Lower Florida West, a member to the committee.
Good morning, I am Honorable Padem Bosane, member for Foni Bondali, a member of this committee.
Good afternoon, I'm Alpha Jallo, subject matter specialist.
Good afternoon, my name is Dr. Yahya Mohammed, subject matter specialist.
My name is Mr. Morris.
Yourself and then
Good afternoon, my name is Mahawan Jai, the PRO of the Gambia Pharmaceutical Association. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I am Ibrahim Jallo, General Manager for Al-Nur Pharmacy.
Good afternoon, my name is Anne-Marie Charlotte, Stopstead Pharmacy.
Good afternoon, Smarty Ekire, Administrator, Stopstead Pharmacy.
Good afternoon, I'm Kamboj from Gam Pharma, also Secretary to the Importers Association.
Good afternoon, my name is Adam Akonte, CEO of Al-Nur Pharmacy.
Good afternoon, my name is Leila Trabusi and I'm CEO of Malak Chemist.
Good afternoon, my name is Lina Nashif and I am from Banjul Pharmacy, MHH Group.
Good afternoon, Salih Hushaimi, Owner, Managing Director, MHH Group, Banjul Pharmacy.
Alpha Ahmad Ejalo, EMJ Group Limited, General Manager.
Good afternoon, my name is Ziad, General Manager for Kumbu Pharma.
Good afternoon, Anis Schumann from Kayaba Pharmaceutical.
I am Yankutu from Seremba Pharmaceutical.
Good afternoon, I'm Chijan Yalo, a member of the Pharmacy Society of the Gambia.
Good afternoon, I'm Jimmy Olupoka, President of the Pharmaceutical Society of the Gambia.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable.
Good afternoon, Omar Gay, member of the Pharmaceutical Society of the Gambia.
Good afternoon, Ibrahim Jete, member of the Gambia Pharmaceutical Society.
Good afternoon, Ala Muhajir City Pharmacy.
Good afternoon, Jafar Muhajir City Pharmacy.
Good afternoon, Firas Muhajir City Pharmacy.
Good afternoon, Saeed Diallo, CEO of Sun Pharmacy.
Good afternoon, Ismail Abadi, pharmacist.
Thank you very much. And then we welcome you all earlier. Today we are meeting the Pharmacy Society of the Gambia and also Pharmaceutical Importers Association of the Gambia. And as you know, and as you are all aware, the purpose of the meeting is as a result of the recent inquiry that we are tasked to do as a select committee. That is to inquire into the issues of the surrounding the unfortunate AKI, that is the acute kidney injury among children. And then today, these people are scheduled to meet us. But unfortunately, we have to apologize on behalf of the Pharmacy Society and also the Importers Association. Communications was sent to you. First, the President Pharmaceutical Society of the Gambia. Someone was sent to your humble office, and then which reads, I am directed to summon you to a meeting with the Select Committee on Health Disaster as scheduled below. That is today, Thursday, 30th November 2022 at 12 p.m. Committee Room 1. And then unfortunately, our messengers went round. They couldn't locate the office according to them. So when they returned back the letters, I took it upon myself as chairperson, called the concerned authorities. I called GB from their end and then conveyed the information. But I tell you, whatever it takes, please honor the invitation, because parliamentary invitation take precedence over anything as far as the laws of the land are concerned. So we are happy, and again, we apologize for any inconvenience, because by practice, you should have received the letter before coming. We appreciate your understanding, and this is a copy of your letter. I will give the secretary to hand it up officially. Can you do that, please? That's the invitation. For the Pharmaceutical Society, Pharmacy Importers Association 2, a letter was also written, and the reference is 19/5/03 in bracket 53, dated 28 November 2022. The content reads as, I am directed to summon you to a meeting of the Select Committee on Health Disaster Refugees as scheduled below. The date is today, 30th November, and the time is 12 p.m. Committee Room 1. And again, messengers went round, they couldn't locate the office, so I had to call Dr. Mahanera, whom I called and then explained the issue to him, and he told me that he would not be available, so on. So, but I told him whatever it takes. Again, so members of your association are represented in this meeting, because as I said earlier, parliamentary businesses take precedence, supersedes over any other businesses as far as the laws of the lands are concerned. So we appreciate your understanding, and then we apologize for any inconvenience, because as practice demands, you should have been handed the copy of the letter before you come here. But due to the understanding between us and you, you have always the opportunity to come. It could have been otherwise, but we thank you for your understanding. And this is a copy of the letter which I will give the secretary to hand over to you officially. So thank you very much, honorable members. That is by way of information for their first work. And then the purpose of calling you here is, as I said earlier, we are conducting a parliamentary inquiry into the acute kidney infection injury that affects children in the Gambia, which has resulted into the death of at least 70 children now. And then there are some medical products linked to the disease per se, but as a committee, we are tasked to conduct the inquiry, find out what causes it, how can we avoid future problems in this nature, and how can we regulate the pharmacy businesses. And we can't do that alone. We have to involve you all. We have to involve all the necessary stakeholders. And we deem it necessary, we deem it important to invite you, especially the Pharmacy Society and the Pharmaceutical Importers Association, to hear from you what have you to say in this, because I understand there are other factors surrounding this whole matter, because we receive complaint, unofficial complaint, that some businesses are a bit affected due to this, and then as a select committee and then as a responsible oversight institution, it's our responsibility to make sure whatever that affects our people, be it health, be it whatever legislation, we have to put our hands in it, we have to put our mouth in it to make sure we regulate it. Because there is no other place where laws are made, there is no other place that dedicate laws making with regard to regulation apart from this body. So it is our responsibility to call you, hear from you, what have you to say in this thing. I understand, again, the Pharmaceutical Association, Importers Association, sent in the position paper some time back to the committee, and then we've admitted it as part of our evidences, but the society was never written to send in a position paper. And then that could have been done before, but unfortunately, now it is done this way. You appear, and later if you have anything in this regard, you can send it to us. But for the society, they have sent in something for us, and it is in our position. But now, for the purpose of today's meeting, we want to hear from you. What do you know about the AKI? What can be done to avoid such future problems? And what recommendations have you to the committee? Because at the end of the day, whatever that we do here, we will write a report and present it to the National Assembly with possible recommendations and even resolutions that will be adopted, I know. And then if that is done, that will be done into laws, actionable laws, with that we will forward to the concerned authorities for onward implementation. So whatever that you have, please feel free to share with us and then tell us the realities as you know, as they prevail currently, because all what we are doing is to regulate the unfortunate issues, unfortunate circumstances surrounding this sector. Make sure we put in measures which are very, very strong, and then measures which you know that they will be helpful to all of us at the end of the day. And then again, as a way of reminder, what challenges are you facing currently with regards to this issue? And then you also can recommend what can we do in that regard too. But again, by way of procedure, any stakeholder that appears before the committee, before you are given permission to speak, we have prescribed oaths of affirmation that you have to affirm that you will speak the truth and nothing but the truth. In other jurisdictions, we will even use the Quran or the Bible to swear in, but in this case, we will just give you a prescribed affirmation that you will read, you will speak the truth and nothing but the truth, thereby you will be permitted to speak before the committee. Without that, you will not be permitted to speak before the committee by our own procedure and by our own rules. So I think that is also very important. So now, before we proceed to hearing evidences from you, I will direct the clerk to do the affirmation. Whosoever want to speak, probably if the pharmaceutical, the importers association, you have a representative who want to speak on behalf of the whole group, the affirmation can be done to the person, likewise the society. But if so, whosoever want to speak subsequently also, the same thing will be done. I think that is so that we can all be at the same point, because I know you are coming from different, from the same or different group, but probably you might have different views on certain issues. So that's why we want to avail the opportunity to speak. We have 2 hours to discuss any issues that you have and that you think can enrich our inquiry and that you think can't help the government populace at the end of the day. So it's very important we be open. And then anything that you said here also by way of our own rules and our own procedure and by way of law, nobody can hold you contempt of it in any court within the Gambia. Whatever you say, whatever you give us remains with us, and nobody can take you to court to say, I am charging you, because we went to the select committee and tell them this. You are absolutely immune to that. So feel free to tell us anything that you have, and we know that that can help us in this process. So thank you very much. Clark, I need you to administer the information for the Importers Association and also the society or any other member who will want to. Thank you.
You can start from the raising hand.
I, Mahawanjai of the Gambia Pharmaceutical Association, do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me out. Thank you very much. As the PRO, I will be speaking on behalf of the association.
Okay. Now you can go to the society and the different stakeholders.
Or whosoever can talk, let before he passes, we just give you the affirmation.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. Yes, any other? I know for now it will be a bit difficult, but now what we will do is we will continue with these 2 witnesses. In the meantime, if anybody wants to speak, so thank you very much once again. Thank you very much once again. Honorable members, now I have the singular honor and pleasure to invite the PRO of the Pharmaceutical Importers Association to share his side of the story. Thank you very much.
It is indeed rather unfortunate that this hit the Gambia as a country, which we all belong to. The families that have lost their loved ones are families that we all belong to as Gambians. You did ask of what do we have to say, what do we know, what are the challenges that we are going through as importers, and what recommendation should we give if there's any. Yes, as importers, we are tasked with the responsibility of importing quality goods into the Gambia, which we've been doing
ever since. We're talking of businesses that have been into exceptions for over 27 to 30 years. And we have been doing this business with the prime objective of giving essential service to the people that we love the most, the Gambian people. It is indeed unfortunate this happened for the first time in the history of this country. And the product that is said to have caused this AKI happens to be imported by an importer like all of us here. And this importer follows all the regulations put in place by MCA, that is Medicine Control Agency. Before we are allowed to import pharmaceutical product into this country, there is an import clearance permit that has to be filled that give details of the product, name, the batch number, the expiry date, production date, and the quantity of the product, the quantity you want to bring, and then submit this document to MCA. And all of this was done, and also the certificate of analysis was also presented to MCA. But when the product came and then we realized there's a problem, investigation started, and then the product was happened to be tested and realized there were some contaminants, I think ethylene glycol and diethylene glycol. This is just to say the product that is said to have killed these children didn't just enter the country anyhow, but follows all the regulations up to where it was kept. That is it. Yes, indeed, we are facing challenges as importers. Like I said, our prime objective is to serve the people that we love the most. And it is indeed going to be quite challenging if we cannot serve them. And with the current regulations that asks me to present a certificate of analysis for goods from all over the world, if I can put it that way, which was not initially the case. There were some exemption for certificate of analysis, like when I want to bring goods from UK, from Europe or America or other Western countries. I was told I don't necessarily need to bring certificate of analysis. And the reason is, we all know that there are bodies that regulate, that quality control, that...
Please, let's concentrate, please. Let's minimize the cycle. Please, thank you.
So certificate, I was talking about certificate of analysis for goods that are coming from UK, for instance. There was an exemption for goods that are coming from UK, but now I am asked to present them. The reason why I am highlighting the importance of this is, if we are talking of quality goods, we're talking of goods that are coming from UK, because we are talking of goods that are under reputable organization that perform quality control, that make sure these products are duly registered in UK and they are duly quality controlled and they are certified for distribution in UK. And if I, as an importer from the Gambia, can lay hand into these goods and bring it to the Gambian people that are in so need of it, I think it should be allowed in because they are duly authorized for distribution in UK. And I'm talking of goods that are under MHRA, bodies that do registration, that do quality control. But now I am told before I can bring a product from UK, I have to provide certificate of analysis, which there's nobody as importer here who can. The reason is we cannot buy directly from manufacturers in UK. The reason why I cannot buy directly from manufacturers, we all know the Gambia is a very small country, and the quantity that I am required to order, I cannot. That is, we're talking of 10,000 for a particular product. I'm talking of 5,000 for a particular product, and we all know pharmaceutical products, they are perishable. What I mean is they have lifespan. And if I bring a particular quantity that I know I won't be able to sell, it might end up expiring on my shelf. And if this happened to 1 or 2 consignment, it might lead to bankruptcy, which is something I don't want to talk about. Because I am not here to speak as a businessman. I am here to speak as stakeholder. I am here to speak as a concerned Gambian. I am here to find solutions together with everybody that is here. Other challenges that we are facing is the regulation that asks me to test every product with every batch number. What I mean is, sometimes I will bring a paracetamol, the same paracetamol, the same ingredient, but comes in different batches. What I mean by different batches is syrups are manufactured by tanks. You fill this tank, produce a particular batch of 100 bottles, and then refill the tank. That will give you 2 batches. And I am told, if I am to import, I have to register each batch, and the charges is $1,400 US. This is just to register one particular batch. And I am told, sorry, to test a particular batch. And I am told, even if I am to bring essential drugs, life-saving drugs, which we normally bring very small quantity, 4 packets, sometimes 10 packets, or highest 12 packets, I will still need to test them at the same amount. We're talking of buying some product for maybe $50 US and test them for $1,400. I also want us to put this into consideration and see, where is this going to take us to? Are we not forcing many importers into extinction? Are we not forcing many importers into reducing staff? Are we not even forcing them to closure? These are challenges that we are facing. The other thing is, we don't know how long is it going to take us even to test our products. Samples have been collected for 8 weeks, 6 weeks, and yet we don't have any information. This has been happening. This has been happening. And as importers, we are here to obey all the regulations put in place that are sustainable. If you visit any one of us, you come to realize that we comply with all the regulations. We know what it takes to store a medicine. We know that they need a required temperature. We know that when you are storing medications, they must not be leaning on the wall. They should not be touching the ground. We know there should be ceiling fans. There should be ACs. And these are all regulations that we are all putting in place to make sure when we serve medicines to our Gambian people, we serve them medicine of good quality. Because without this regulation, without putting all this into consideration, by the time that these medicines are consumed, they might be consuming only chunks. And we know the Gambia is without a lab. And it is indeed a very important element in this business. If there was a lab, I don't think we would have gone to this state that we are in now, right now. Because if I bring a product and there's suspicion, you can take it next door to check if the product has a problem or not. But the idea of asking me for $2,800 US, $280,000 US for testing my products to a foreign country that is way richer than the Gambia, it doesn't make sense to me. Sorry to say it. It doesn't make sense to me. If you tell me importers should come up with such contribution to help in the establishment of a lab that will go on to benefit even my great-grandchildren, it will please my heart. But not ask me $1,400 US for syrups and suspension, or $1,000 US for tablets to take it to a country that is way richer than the Gambia. To me, it doesn't add up. I think people should know the fact that if this trend continues, if I cannot continue to to import medicine because of certificate of analysis, because of the fact that I cannot afford the testing fee. At the end of the day, the Gambia will be without medication. And we all know, everybody seated here, if you don't know a family member who is suffering from hypertension or diabetes, you know of someone who knows someone suffering from the same condition. We are talking of conditions that compels you to be on medication until you are 650. Is the Gambia ready for this? I think the answer is no. When I am suffering from diabetes or hypertension, I need to be on medication on a daily basis. If these medications are not available because of these regulations put in place, are we really helping the Gambia? That is the question that we should all ask ourselves. My grandmother is there, my mother, my father, they are all suffering from diabetes and hypertension. We're talking of people with mental health. It's a crisis in the Gambia. It is indeed very important that we try to find solutions so that this doesn't happen. But let us also bear in mind that regulations put in place might cause bigger problems, because medicine is security. There is not even the most developed countries in this world can survive without medication. No. So these are basically what I wanted to say, and I will also allow my president, who just arrived right now, Ousseynou Mahanera, if he has anything to add up to what I just said. And I will apologize on his behalf for not being able to be with us. He actually traveled last night and he came very late, around 5 o'clock a.m. And I told him I will start in your absence whilst you come on the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This one, Mahawa? Yeah.
Mahawan, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you so much. We appreciate your submission. Thank you. Yeah. Honorable members, as you heard from him, before we proceed to any other witness, you heard his submission. And then by way of procedure, if you have questions that you want him to clarify as he submitted, the floor is open, but let us just remember that they have submitted a position paper too, which will be made available to all the honorable members, and which will form part of our evidence, our appendix, as far as the report we are going to present to the plenary is concerned. So if you have any further clarification that you want him to make, can we please do that before we proceed to the next witness? Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mahawa. I really want to know how long does it take in testing of your drugs, and where do you normally test your drugs, and how much do you pay in testing of drugs?
How long it takes? Normally, we didn't know, because when samples are taken, I am not told that within 2 or 3 weeks I will give you results. And also, the fee we know, but we cannot pay. It's not us. Just imagine a product that you are selling at $500. If these expenses are added to the current price, the price will shoot up to 2,000 something. Is the Gambian people ready for this? This is not because the importers are being stubborn or something, but it's something that is out of our reach. And also, we know some pharmacies that are bringing goods from Europe. They are labeled as the most expensive pharmacies, and if they add these expenses to it, the price will shoot up. And this is something that we don't even want to happen. This is why we want to find a solution. And the issue of how long it takes to test a product, probably MCA will be in a better position to answer that question. However, I do know that they are told let it not be more than 4 weeks. Yes, but I don't know if they can.
Where do you test?
Where we test, actually, we don't know, but we were told some companies from Europe, Ghana or Nigeria, but to be quite sure of where, I don't know, to be honest. Because we are not the body that do the testing, it's MC.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, any other honorable member? Yes, Honorable Bora.
Yes, me tested. Maybe that is not under your purview, I can understand that. Like the question that I want to ask, like these drugs, are they tested before they are in circulation or is the opposite?
Yes, you know, you have to bring it with certificate of analysis. This is goods that we bring from other countries. Like when I want to bring something from India, from Nigeria, Ghana, we bring the certificate of analysis. The certificate of analysis tells you this is the testing of this product. That certificate is actually the test result, the laboratory test result. That is the certificate of analysis. So maybe they would want to test to confirm, which I know is not what is happening in other countries like Ghana and Nigeria. Like if you register a particular product and want to bring it again, you don't necessarily need to test it. Once you register it, you don't need to test it. And the registration certificate lasts for 3 years. But here we are told, if I bring it today, I will test it. If I bring it tomorrow, I will test it, and the day after that. So this is what they're asking of us. And the testing fee is $1,400 for syrups and suspension. And tablets and injectable is $1,000.
And
No, I understand.
You understand?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Any other Honorable Dawa?
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Kiaman, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Njai, yes, thank you so much for your meticulous presentation. And I felt somehow with you concerning about the end results to Gambian people somehow. Yeah. If, as you said, if this costs are added to the price of the medication, so mainly it will solve out. But what I wanted you to clarify is the medication coming from Europe. You said normally you don't need certificate of analysis before. And now they are requesting you for certificate of analysis whatsoever. Why were they not requesting for certificate of analysis for those drugs from Europe? Why? And why now?
Thank you. All right, actually that would be a question that MCA would answer better than I, but I will tell you what was said to us by correspondence. In 2019, they wrote to us that whenever we bring in goods from India and other countries, we should bring certificate of analysis. And for Europe, we don't need to. We normally list them when we bring some things, we pay $25 to list them. That was the case then. Because probably that is because they were applying the laws or the regulations sensibly to say, well, we are considering the risk regions, the regions that are at risk of importing contaminated medicine and all that. Because probably they know when we are bringing from Europe, we are bringing from UK, we are bringing goods from that are under MHRA. This is a body like MCA that regulates, that quality control, that register products within UK. And the products that we are bringing from UK, the same batch number is probably what Prince Charles' grandchildren are drinking that I am bringing into this country. It's the same batch number. We all know Calpol. It's the same Calpol in UK that is in the Gambia. Even tourists, when they come with the same bottle. I want this, do you have it? And then you bring it out and give them. This is exactly what they are using in UK. And you bringing them to the Gambia should be considered a privilege. It's not even easy. Because when you bring in them by flight. Think of all these expenses. The reason why we bring them by flight is to still maintain the condition required by pharmaceutical products. They come by flight. Within 2 or 3 days, they are here, and then you give it to the Gambian people. And we have exchanged correspondence with Medicine Control Agency to prove to them that we are writing to our manufacturers, asking if they can provide certificate of analysis. They said no, we cannot provide certificate of analysis because of look at the quantities that we are buying. look at the quantities you are buying. How can I give you certificate of analysis and the right to register and all that with the quantity that you are buying? And we have also given them letters from these bodies that are in charge of testing these products in UK, that are in charge of registering this product in UK and authorizing their distribution in UK to prove that they are duly registered in that country. We give them certificate of origin. We give them certificate of conformity to prove that these are duly registered and authorized for distribution in UK. And the volume required for us to bring them is very high. We cannot. And you know, the pharmaceutical business involves a lot of calculation. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jai. As you said earlier, you are not talking here as a businessman, but as a stakeholder.
Yes, yes. I don't want to be seen as a businessman today.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, honorable members, any other, please? Yes, honorable right.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Jai. The PRO, right?
Yes.
Very interesting deliberation. Listening to you, you talk about the testing aspect of the drugs, but I will take you to the other side. That has to do with drugs that have been imported in this country. Going through the process, according to the information that we got, is that they either have to be registered or listed. Fine. If that is the case, can you please kindly share with us, if imported drugs in this country are registered, how much do you pay? And if it is listed, how much do you pay? Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. You know, registration is a practice, and I believe every importer is registering. Even though they might think we are registering at a very slow pace, but I can say is, because I am on oath, I can say it's a practice. Meaning the pharmacy I work with, we are registering, and all other importers are registering as well. And the price we pay for registering is $300. That is the price that we are registering. And the price for listing is $25 US. This is the price that we all pay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable. I think that was good. In the absence of any other, I think Honorable Mr. Njai, I'm calling you Honorable.
maybe later. Maybe later.
Yes, you have something, Honorable Mara?
Yes, in straight. Between the importers and the people that you are importing for, a violation have been seen. That is, a contaminant have been seen in some of the products that importers are bringing. It has prompted every Gambian to look at another dimension. And then issue of contaminant and counterfeit medicines in the world generally, I think we cannot sacrifice ourselves, because like you talked about satisfying authority, like the UK, there are counterfeits in UK. So if we rely on that and don't do any other meaningful, it is going to affect the people again. America being a developed world, this is happening there. So we cannot want to lose any tight gap. We want to make sure that all the gaps are tightened. For the issue of satisfied authority like a developed country, I don't think that should be something that we will look at when these issues are coming in our country. So we need to strategize and ensure that our products are of safe, because that's what you people have been doing for the Gambian people, bringing something safe. Even the one that brought this medicine with the objective that is safe, and we find that contaminant, meaning that there was a loose, and that's what we are tightening. So the issue of satisfied authority, like those products coming from UK, there are no exemption for retesting.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I think that was more of it. Just have a few concerns here. The process of importing. We are informed of the process of importing by DMC and then the Pharmacy Council. And then you understand from your submission that the purported medicines that were found to have these contaminants followed all the due process from your submission.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
Good. And then all the processes were followed and the procedure were followed to the letter. But unfortunately, later on, contaminants were found when this unfortunate instance happened. So in your personal capacity as a PRO of the Importers Association, and by way of reminder, our mandate also extends to the fact that we have to come up with a recommendation to find about the possibility of the importer of this medicine, of these drugs. And also whosoever is found wanted within the cost from the, let's say, manufacturing up to the consumer level. In your own opinion, what do you have to say to that?
Well, you know, when we import goods, like I tell you, there is guidelines that we have to follow to import goods. Just to what Mr. Mbalo, Honorable Mbalo said, yes, even in developed countries, there are counterfeit medicines and all that. You know, when I import something, and it is coming from a region that I can get certificate of analysis to prove that this is the test result, it's up to MCA to confirm. If it is a registered product, there is no need for you, because before you register a product, you must have tested the product and certified that it is fit for registration in the Gambia. And if I want to bring it subsequently, there is no need for you to test it, because I'm bringing the same product from the same manufacturer. And to be honest, it happened, and it's rather unfortunate. And I am not saying products must not be tested. I'm not against testing products. What I am against is the cost involved in it, because I can say it's not sustainable. There is nobody who can sustain such expenses, to be honest. Because you're asking me to pay for something, maybe even the amount I'm going to pay is even more than my invoice value. My invoice value, if I bring a 40-foot container, probably is going to be $75. If it is 200 products, it's going to be $280,000 US. So the testing is going to be more than my invoice value. And this cost, let us not forget, we're talking about the Gambia. People are dying when their life could have been saved. People are dying simply because they cannot afford to buy medicine. And if we are to add any expenses to the current price that they cannot afford, what is going to happen? Honorable Mbalo, this is what I want you to put into consideration. I am not against testing. Let us test, but at a price that is reasonable. This is my concern. If the government is to help, the government should put their hand in. Let's have a lab. Let us have a bilateral agreement with other countries and see what we can do. I believe this is going to benefit everybody. Myself, I wouldn't want the Gambian people to take in something that is contaminated. No. None of us as importers here will be happy to do that. And this is why if MC asks of this, I said, yes, since it is a regulation that benefits the Gambian people, we have to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yeah. Regarding my main concern about maybe the possible culpability of any personnel or a business entity or an enterprise along the importation of these imported medicines. I ask for your opinion on that, because as you submitted, the product was duly imported and duly satisfied by MCA with all the process and the protocols that they are observing, but later on it found to be otherwise. So I want your opinion on that, your independent opinion on that. Where do you think maybe the fault lies?
Well, I might not be the one to give you exactly where I think the fault lies. To me, the fault is from the manufacturer, where these goods were manufactured from. But the importer in the Gambia followed all the rules. I want to bring this country, what my country is asking for certificate of analysis to prove that this product is tested. You gave me the certificate of analysis saying that this product is tested and these are the results. only for MCA to use an independent lab to test and see that, well, what is said in this result is actually different from the actual, what we have here. So the fault, I will not I might not be right to say the importer is not at fault, but to me, the fault is from the manufacturer. It's the manufacturer probably who did something wrong to an extent this happened. If at all the result shown on the certificate of analysis was okay, was actually what was the content of the medicine, then this wouldn't have happened.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You share? Follow-up question, yes, please. Let's please, so that we can move to our.
Yes. Quickly, I just want to ask Mr. Guy, how did MCA arrive at this amount of testing, this product, the amount they are charging? How did they arrive at that figure? How, 1,400, $1,000? How did they arrive at that figure?
Well, that I might not know, because it's MCA's responsibility to lobby for labs and see different labs.
I'm expecting that answer from you.
Yes, and lobby for labs and different labs to look for quotations and all that.
Thank you very much. I think this will be that's Yes?
Yeah, I just want to establish something in the committee. From his submission, I just wanted some clarity with regards to an importer buying from the factory and importing into the Gambia. You went through all the processes and procedures. You get all the documents in place. It has been, identified on the document that the product that you bought from the manufacturer is the right product that is sent to you in the Gambia. Only to find out that the drugs were contaminated. Do you have all the proofs of document that were listed? What type of drug has been sent to you with all the details? Do you have that? I don't know whether you understand what I mean.
No, I don't. If you may come back to.
I'm asking about the documentation, because like you have an invoice. You wanted to buy drug from the manufacturer.
Yes.
And the product, that is the specification of the product that you want to bring, is all listed on the invoice. Am I right?
Are you talking of the certificate of analysis of the product?
Well, however you may call it, because I'm not certificate analysis. I'm talking about invoice. For me, that is what I know. If you want to buy something, they list them on an invoice for you. You understand? That is the specification. What exactly you wanted.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
You have those documents already.
Yes.
Everything is correct.
Yes.
Exactly. And then the product that you wanted to buy from the manufacturer is the same document that the product that they give that was sent to you.
Yes.
So MCA later found that the drugs were contaminated. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I wanted to know whether the document is available. That is going to help the committee.
But it's not me. It's not
you.
Yes.
Whether you are the importer or not, I'm trying to put it across. So we know
It's
we
very
are referring to the
important.
importer. Whoever might be the importer
Yes.
will fall in the category. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. This is what happened.
Yeah, let me answer. Thank you very much, Honorable Sise. I think he had a very important question. Yeah, but just to tell everybody that here that we had a series of engagement with MC and that with Pharmaceutical Council and documentations with regards to the importation of the purported medicines. They are all made available to the committee. And we are in process of those documents. Now, where the fault lies, the prerogatives of the committee to draw a conclusion on that, and that we will do during our own internal engagements. Yeah, that is by way of information. But as you submitted, we definitely understand and appreciate your submission, and we've taken good note of whatever that you have said here. So we thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sorry, before you go, he is telling
you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I have a question. Before you go,
that is my opinion.
One, from the Importers Association, what are the labs that you have seen in the current process of importations? And if you have seen lapses, not verbally, we would want to receive those lapses so that we will look at how can we work to improve those lapses, because that's where we can make a decision.
Thank you very much for that question. It is indeed, when MCA came newly, things were not controlled as they are now. And I must confess, they have done a very good job in terms of controlling medicine and all that. Because when they came in newly, they asked all importers to provide them with a listing. That is to say, what are the products that you have in your place, and this is it. When you want to import, ask for clearance. We ask for clearance, you add it to the product that you give them, so they have what you give them initially, plus what you're importing. So basically, MCA will easily track down whatever is expected to be in circulation within the Gambia. And if there's any product that is not with them, either by listing or by clearance, they would know, I must confess. And the only thing that I've seen so far that I can say is the fact that licenses are given quite oftenly. And I'm seeing pharmacists getting so close nowadays to each other. And I can even say, I don't know what the authorities says, probably is for good cause, but I have seen two wholesalers saying probably the same signboards. So these are the things that I also want people to put into consideration and all that. These are things that I think we should be addressed. Yes.
Thank you very much. We both are happy.
Thank you.
And then as part of our mandate, the issue of land banking is also another area that we are very much interested in. And we have the answer to submission. Yes. So thank you very much. However, I just beg on your intervention and other.
It is very important. This question is going to be in twofold. One is for the importers. Those who are importing drugs to this country, those particular drugs, are they all registered? And my second question is, if one should tell you, the importers, that all the drugs that you are importing to this country are not registered, some are not registered, what will be your say?
Well, but what I do know is registration is a practice. We are registering our products, and it's going on gradually. And to say everything is registered, I might not know. We have some products that are under quarantine, products that I just cleared from the ports, and they are under quarantine. They have not even been authorized for distribution. So I wouldn't be able to say everything is registered. And you saying all the products are registered, you might be right to say they are not registered. However, we have correspondence from MCA to tell us that by the end of December, all the products in this country should be registered. By the end of December.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Nye. Thank you very much. And then, Honorable, for the attention of everybody that is here. Pharmacy Medicine Control Agency have sent in a list of all the registered products in the Gambia, likewise all the ones that are listed. So it will also be made available to honorable members. Yes, very good. Thank you very much. I am seeing a lot of hands being raised, so now I will ask the secretary to do the affirmation. Who's I want to you can continue. Just do it. Who's I want to you can do one as well. We give you the floor one by one.
We hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Thank you.
I, Sayo Jalo, do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, not the body truth, so help me God.
I, Farih Hushaimi, do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Thank you.
I, Leila Trabusi, do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, but nothing but the truth, so help me Allah.
Do affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me Allah.
I, Anne-Marie Charlotte, do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you very much.
Hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me Allah.
Thank you so much. May Allah be with all of us. So we start from my left hand.
Good afternoon, honorable members, fellow stakeholders. My name is Dr. Ismail Abaji. I'm the founder and CEO at Novarex Global Health.
but also a recently licensed pharmacist here in the Gambia. To just give you guys context, obviously I'm Gambian, born and raised, but I've spent the past over 10 years in the US, working as a pharmacist, dealing with procurements, working at one of the biggest community pharmacies in the USA, Walgreens. And being that obviously my institution as well too does bring in medications that falls under the category of, I guess as the honorable members mentioned, medications from Europe or the USA, I just felt like it would be remiss if I didn't provide a little bit of context on as to why. And I think part of the conversation that's been missing has been, why Gambia? Why Africa? Yes, the medications came from India. I could tell you that India produces 50% of the medications in the United States. Almost half of the medications that I dispense as a pharmacist in the USA were made in India. So the conversation should not be about if something is less than, when India has a nickname, they call them the world's pharmacy, because they supply a lot of medications to the rest of the world. But these markets, which are a little bit more sophisticated from a supply chain standpoint, exist as marketplaces, meaning the idea of a local importer in Africa having to even provide certificates of analysis and register product is an outdated concept in pharmacy drug supply chain. And it's one of the reasons why Africa as a continent is struggling with a counterfeit problem, because the people who are quality distributors of medications consider our regulations too draconian, where they'll rather take their business elsewhere. And this is something I know for a fact because I've lived it now on both ends, both as a Gambian stakeholder, but also as a US practitioner who understands the drug supply chain. Even the idea of testing, there's no place in a structured society that you are required to test every single product that comes into the country. Doing it is actually causing harm to the Gambian people, because the rate that we're going, there will be a drug shortage in the very near future. And we talk about the unfortunate nature of kids who die. That should never happen in any country. But more Gambians will die because essential medications are not available in the country. Now, as stakeholders, I'll speak to all of us. I think all of us have a responsibility to vet where we buy medications from. So in terms of consequences, we would expect our regulators to hold us accountable for vetting where we buy medications from. Every single importer makes a decision on where you want to buy medications from. Some of us pay more, some of us pay less. I think that's a separate conversation that internally we could have. But I think the idea of testing is something that we should not even encourage as a standard, because that will be taking the profession back and not forward. Now, when it comes to randomized testing, I think that's something we can consider, where institution is established, where if you are an importer of medication and you have an establishment, the government authorities could always randomly select any sample that you're providing to the public, at which point, if you are found to have a substandard product in the market, we could be held responsible, because us as stakeholders would not want you amongst us if your due diligence is not done properly. But the $1,000 it's a precedence that it should not even be considered, because it doesn't solve the problem. Because another reality is we live in a very porous country, meaning the individuals around this table that are responsible for following procedure of bringing in medications, every single day there are other people who are not in this room who are selling medications to Gambians, and they will dominate the market. So it is just my hope that you guys consider how it should be. The idea of dossier is outdated, because as he mentioned, none of us are bringing in a volume that requires a one-on-one relationship with a manufacturing company. But I think as a Gambian nation, we could also start demanding that some of these manufacturers, if your products are not good enough to sell to Western nations, it should not be good enough to sell to Gambian people. And that's not only with medications, that should go with food. That's the root of the problem, because if you look at the manufacturer who made these products, yes, I don't think any pharmacist who takes the oath as a pharmacist intends to cause harm. But at the same time too, we should question the level of manufacturers that have access to our market. I have personally studied the Indian market very closely to know that there's 3 tiers to the Indian market. The top tier that supplies USA and Europe. The middle tier that they consume internally. And there's a bottom tier that they could always produce a document. So for the honorable member who asked about a certificate of dossier, that's one of the easiest documents to produce. Because if I am in the counterfeit business, I could take the correct medication, send it to a lab to get tested, it will pass, and I will use the same document to now knock on African nations that are more vulnerable and proliferate medications that are substandard, which is why the counterfeit industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry in Africa. And almost 50% of the counterfeit medications around the world are found in sub-Saharan Africa. Yes, there's some in the USA, but it's less likely. Because of the FDA, they have regulations in place. So as a business that buys medications, I don't have a relationship with a manufacturer one-on-one. I buy from a marketplace, which I'm sure a lot of my shareholders, they buy from the UK market. It's a marketplace. So it also does not make sense. We're doing more harm to Gambian people if some importers are trying to bring quality medications in the Gambia, but it's harder for a people that need it the most just to bring it in the Gambia. So it's just my hope that whatever happens, this tragedy, as big as it is a tragedy, let's not overreact and actually cause more harm in the long term. And I think internally, us as stakeholders have the responsibility to each other to police each other better, leverage each other better, buy consolidated resources to buy together. That's the only way we solve our problem. But I just know this precedence of testing does not exist in any society that actually needs medications the right way. And I will make myself and my resources available to any stakeholders because I know and understand Western drug supply chains. And it's just my hope that we take that into consideration because the Gambia cannot afford what the status quo is today. And the problems will manifest 3 months from now, 6 months from now, when it will come back to the same issue. I yield the floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You can apply somewhere with your question.
Just one word.
Thank you very much. But the name again, is it Mr. Baji? Mr. Baji. Yes, thank you very much. As an expert in the field, we want to thank you for your submission. But in addition, for this committee, if you can come and make your submission, we hear you, the report, because we have our reporters and take evidence. But in case we can extend our hand to say, as an expert in the area, please help us with the written document, your independent opinion as you submitted here, and then that will help us in the way forward. Anything that you feel like have a connection to this issue, please feel free to write something, and then we will, the secretary will give you the address where you're going to send it. You don't need to come here and submit it physically. You can send it via email. We will make sure that we make it available to all the honorable members. Because what you are saying here is something that is very important. I understand. We are all living in the country, we are all living in Gambia. We do go to pharmacies to buy medicines here and there. I won't disclose where I do go and buy medicines here and there sometimes, but we all do, and then we are facing some of these challenges. That is a fact. But again, we have an assignment that we have to conduct, and then we took oath that we will make sure whatever we do it to the best of our ability, with our clear consent and whatever. So we'll do it, and then again, cognizant of the fact of the proportions that are presently moving, as I will say. So thank you very much. We will definitely want that. I will ask the secretary to lace with you so that you can send it. Yes, can we have the next speaker again?
I just want to narrate on the COA and registration, which you were saying to Mawa, and he also said all, but I just want to add. certificate of analysis and dossiers from India we can have for every single item, and we register every single product from those countries. But from Europe, Gambian population is less than 3 million. For us to bring the volume that factories are asking us to bring for them to give us certificate of analysis and dossiers for registration is not going to be possible. We sat with MCA, with the Honorable Minister. We even explained that to His Excellency as well. So we bring some items like in our letter, it's very explained and in detail. We can even submit it here that we sent to His Excellency and to the Honorable Minister. There are drugs which Gambians cannot do without. And if you say we have to register and bring certificate of analysis, means we are not going to bring them anymore. Because these are life-saving drugs, especially with diabetic patient, hypertensive patient, and so on. So the demand for the quantity, the volume, is not in Gambia because of population that is less than 3 million. So that is why we cannot produce those documents. It's not that we don't want to. Whereby we can, we will produce. Whereby we cannot, then it is not in our hands. And for us, when you said that fake drugs are in UK or America, yes, it is all over the world. But we buy from registered companies that are registered under the MHRA and also have license to sell to us. We are not allowed to buy from any wholesaler that is not registered under the government of the UK or US or any part of Europe. That is what I want to explain to you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes. Like those who took the affirmation, you can just raise your hands when the next speaker is done. Then whoever catches my eye first, I will leave it for.
It's that we know of. It might be more. We don't know. But we should also question ourselves. Why? How? So that tomorrow it might not happen again. That's why we are here. It's not about business. It's not about politics. It's only about preventing the lives of Gambians. I came back to Gambia with a Swedish passport. I gave it back and took a Gambian passport for no reason, because I'm a Gambian. And when I did that, I swear that my obligation is to make Gambia a better country. Some of you guys might know me. But the reason why we're here today is to think rationally. Why these things happen. Still now, we have not get any report that says that it was caused by this medicine. What is the cause of Aki? That is the basis of everything. Those are the bases they use that say isolate these products. We did. These are products that have been here, some of them for even more than 1 year. People have been using it for more than 1 year, some of them. We did. Okay, now we have come, we haven't come to the conclusion of why and how. People crying for justice for this 70 case. But we cannot have justice without knowing how and why. And we cannot victimize people without knowing how and why. I think that's the reason why we are all here. So to come with these irrational ideas, just to tell people or show people that we are doing something, is definitely irrational. And it is doing more harm than good. I will give you some few examples what is happening. When I got my bill to test 9 products, that was $12,000. I called them and said, do you mean Dalasi? They said no, $12,000. And I brought one of those for you to have a better understanding. I want you to pass this thing around. These are two products. They are both cough syrups. One is from Ghana. No, yeah, they're both from India, sorry. One is a herbal one. Yeah, the other is just normal. The price they're asking me to pay for the testing is far more than the cost. Both these products came to the Gambia last year, June. I brought about 6,000 to 7,000 bottles each of them. Now I have almost about 300 bottles of the gum herb, which is the herbal one. And they're asking me to test it for $1,400. I will gladly give them the product. Common sense do dictate sometimes. The problem with the testing, we should all test medicines, yes. There is no way around it. We should equally all sit down, be honest with each other, and take collective blame for what has happened. Some to a certain degree, others to a lesser degree. Yes, as importers, it is our duty to bring or to do due diligence and to bring medicine affordable, accessible, and quality. That is our job. The role of MCA is to protect the people. You're part of the people. So we failed somehow because this medicine came into the country. Even though it didn't kill the children, we don't know whether it was the cause of death, but they found chemicals that are not supposed to be there. There is no way we can go around that. That is the honest truth. And responsibilities must be taken for that. That's another field. Now we come to the testing. With that amount, you're talking almost together, if you add all the testing fees, I bet is minimum $700,000. Minimum. Okay, what we are doing instead of what we are set to do to bring affordable, quality medication, we are making sure that they cannot afford it. Because at that price, somebody who is earning $5,000, you selling him paracetamol for $500, and that is the cheapest drug. It's not reasonable. But that is the least of our problems. When you do that, some of us will close. For me, I can honestly tell you that I will close. There is no, I'm too old to play games. This is the problem we have. And when some of us close, we have opened the floodgates for smugglers. Because people must have medicine. We know Gambia is a hub for smuggling, especially from Guinea-Conakry. Whether we like it or not is a fact. We cannot control our borders, and it's happening every day. The thing is, the system is not functioning. We need to find ways to make it function without harming the people. We cannot be firefighters for the public, because whenever the public cries, we go out as firemen just to put up the blaze, nothing else. Then what? We cannot be controlled by social media. We should do what is right, and science should dictate in this case. We all have to be honest. It's not about politics, it's not about religion, it's not about money, or it's not about, it's to do the right thing. That's one of the reasons why we're here. There are so many ways of doing it, and we, all the stakeholders, must sit down from the licensing all the way to the selling and buying. All the stakeholders must sit down and review our position, because none of it is working. We just manage it. And as we say in Gambia, everybody is a manager. No, that is enough. Everybody cannot be a manager. We have to start taking responsibility for our children, for the future of every Gambian. Yes, we will test. Some countries, what they do, I will give a recommendation. Some countries, what they do, we import from Ghana. Somebody import from India. The MCA will go to India, talk to a lab and say, look, my people, they import from here. And everybody who is importing from India, the manufacturing company will send it to that lab to test it and send it directly to MCA. It makes more sense. Why do we have to test from Switzerland? Who is Switzerland? I would rather go to Senegal because we have the same problems. I would rather go to Ghana. We have the same problems. Me and Switzerland, we don't have anything in common. We are not even on the same planet. We have to be really honest with ourselves. But what I see happening here, they need a scapegoat of this problem, and that's not going to happen. We'll fix the problem together. There is no scapegoat. We'll fix it together for the common good of the people. And the last thing I want to say is when Mawa was talking about certificate of analysis, yes, some cannot get it, but also there is something called certificate of origin that we can always get to submit it along with the goods. Yes. In that case, you will know where it comes from, and you will contact that authority. And even the product from UK, there is a barcode. Just go online, punch it, and you see where it comes from, who certified it, everything, the whole history of the product. Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel again? We don't need to. All we need to do right now is to make sure that we hold everybody accountable. Everybody. The importers, the pharmacists, the MCA, everybody. We should sit down, recognize our problems, and fix it together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. As you said, we are all responsible, all of us. Starting from the president down to the last part, we all have a stake to play in this. And then we can only solve this problem if only we sit collectively and then find ways and means of solving it. And then that's what we are tasked to do as a parliament. The executives, they have their own ways of doing their things. But as far as they are concerned, the legislature, we also have our own ways and processes of doing things. And we will do it to the best of our ability. Because the reason why we are here is the people that we represent, the government people, and that includes all of you here, including us ourselves here. So whoever comes here will tell us, give us evidence, be it written, oral, just please know that we are taking it and we are taking it seriously. And we will make sure whatever that transpires here, when we are presenting our report to the president, we make sure we inform them adequately to make an informed decision. That is very important in the outcome of whatever that we are doing here. And we have our terms of reference, and we make sure we live by them will come up with recommendations. As a legislature, well, we are responsible of lawmaking, and whatever that we deal with there, at the end of the day, it will transform into a law. So we also will heard you and we will heard your concern. They are very genuine and pertinent concerns, I understand. Yeah. But like, as our procedure and then our mandate dictates, we just have to do the inquiry until we are done. At the end of the day, and so when we are done, when you hear that the parliament is debating on the report of the AKI, I only hope and pray by all these issues will be sure. Thank you so much. So, yes, I saw your.
Thank you.
Yes, just summarize.
I'll be very short for that. My name is Fadi Hoshaimi, and the reason I'm here and the reason I chose to speak is because as the oldest pharmacy in this country, my father established Banjul Pharmacy in 1970. I grew up consuming the same medication he was bringing that I'm giving my own children now. We still bring these. Some of these suppliers we have been dealing with for 30, 40 years. We have followed every single rule that MCA and this country has imposed, which is for the benefit, of course, of having healthy medicine here. We have registered, because this registration topic came up, we mostly deal with manufacturers. So that means we are able of bringing those dossiers and certificates of analysis from the manufacturers. We have continuously registered products by providing, for those who don't know, the way you register is that you provide a dossier, a certificate of analysis, and you pay $300. And we have been doing this, 3 samples, sorry. And 3 samples were taken from us year after year after year. We have been paying these. In fact, right now, the items on the list of, so basically 38 samples were taken from our offices. The 38 samples, half of them, roughly half of them, are products that are already registered, that the MCA has given us the green light to sell. So why are you asking us again to pay $1,400 to test them when you took samples and we paid for the testing? What was the money for? That's one side of the story. The other reason I decide to speak here today, because I think as honorable members of National Assembly, you should know that this is a critical situation if it doesn't change. Today, there is talk at our office of closing Banjul Pharmacy, and that will be headline news. How do I explain to my employees that we're just shutting down? We have employees at Banjul Pharmacy who's been here since I was 4 years old. 38 years. I'm 42 now. This lady has been with us for 38 years. How do I tell her, we're shutting down, thank you very much? And for what? If you all remember, a couple of years ago, there was the issue of the contaminated rice. You remember that? Mm-hmm. The plastic that was found in the rice. What happened? Did we ban all rice? Did we quarantine all the rice? Because people have to eat. What happened? Similar situation. If one particular medicine is found to be bad, are you going to stop all the medicine in the country? You cannot come and put blanket policies like this, because as Dr. Baji said, as Mr. Bush said, you are causing other issues. Right now we have an invoice on my desk that says $51,000 because I need to prepay for a supposed test of 38 items that were taken from us. 38 only. $51,000 is way more than the value of these 38 items. No one here will logic says you cannot pay that. It doesn't make sense. I would rather throw it because I cannot even now pay the supplier himself. So back to the story of the rice example, similar story happening here. Instead of putting these blanket policies, we have amazing people around this table, Dr. Baji is here, my uncle Jimmy Coca is here. He was here when I was growing up consuming the same medication. Mr. Coca, you can speak on that. These are people, and a lot more, I'm sure. I don't want to keep anyone out. There's a lot of people around here. Laila is here. There's a lot of brain. I'm not a pharmacist, by the way, and I never claim to be, because someone said everyone's a manager. I'm not a pharmacist. But I'm a Gambian who loves this country. If tomorrow I shut down, where will I buy my medicine from? So I have a stake in the development of this nation. And coming and putting a blanket policy like this is just going to kill everybody. Please use Dr. Baji, use Jimmy Coca, use Laila, use a lot of people to consult with them. How was this policy even come up with? I mean, who was consulted? I don't know. Somebody asked the question, how did we come up to this amount? No one knows. What kind of test? I'm not a pharmacist, but I'm sure there's different tests you can do. What kind of test are you going to do? Please tell us. In fact, our suppliers are asking us the same question. When we called our suppliers and said, hey, they want to test every single product that you have shipped to us, that you have already tested and given us proof of that. They said, why? Please tell us why. And we cannot tell them why. Yeah, the items that are quarantined. They would like to know what kind of test, which lab. No answers. I will leave it at that. I don't want to get emotional about this, but we all are here for the same reason. We want safe medicine. Now, how do you go about accomplishing that? I don't have all the answers, but I think there's a lot of people here you should consult for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I understand, but please, we appreciate your submission, honestly. And whoever that speaks here, it seems like you're also speaking the same voice. The issue of testing, yeah. Can you please have 1 minute? Order, please, order, please. Order. I'm seeing some hands up. Yes, madam. I'm sorry, I've been skipping you. I'm sorry. You can come on. Yes, please.
I've been shaken. I'm actually a pharmacologist by profession. I'm also a Gambian third generation Lebanese, so my parents were Batos, were before even it was Gambia. But we're here for the main interest of something that is important to all of us, the safety of the Gambian people. When I came back from University of Dundee in Scotland in 28 years ago and wanted to establish Malak, the idea was, I was very nice to meet you finally. You're one of the people I admire and I respect, and I'm sorry to say I don't say that to many people. But when you said that the people, the importers, are responsible to vet where they're getting from, we as Gambians know that we don't have any testing facility, and that it is our duty to make sure that where we're importing from is actually tested and pre-qualified so that we make sure that what comes into the country is faced with consumption. And the first thing I used to say ages ago was what is good for the Europeans is good for my Gambian people. And that's the only way I can repay what they did for and adopted us into this country when we were at war. That has nothing to do with all the emotions, but yes, we are emotional. Another point here is that we're not sure if these medication killed these children, but in the end, they are contaminated medication. Whether we know or we don't, there was antifreeze in them. So no one can shy away from the fact that something somewhere is not correct. As the one, I'm going to attack you personally, and I'm free to speak because apparently here we can raise our voices. You said, and we went to the minister, the Honorable Minister of Health. We tried to raise the concerns which Dr. Ismaila beautifully pointed out, that everything in Europe and in America and these spaces are governed by a governing body. I'm not saying counterfeit because I don't know if the Honorable Minister spoke to you, those are exact words he told us. And he said, no, but there's counterfeit in Spain, and there was something in America, and I said, sir, you're not listening to me. I said, these are governed under the MHAR, which if you would please have a look at the document, it explains to you that these people that work together under the MHAR, if you're allowed to buy from them, you need to go from manufacturer, raw material, to production, to sale, to distribution, to recall, sir. Meaning that when we as Malak, I can only talk to Malak because our businesses are different. I don't bring container loads of anything. We have found that over 28 years, the only way I can bring quality medication that is needed by the Gambian is to bring it in small quantities because of expiry days by air every 2 weeks And we are also the agents for a company in Germany called Denk Pharma, who's a manufacturer. We bring in the certificates of analysis. In England, we bring in what they call our paper that shows that our wholesaler is registered with the MHAR. So which means that they've already tested rigorously, quality controlled, and if there's any recall, sir, we get an email that tells us that this particular batch has impurities down the chain, please recall the product. He is a pharmacist, doctor, I salute, but I'm also a pharmacologist, which on their chain I'm a little bit on the low end, but with 28 experience in the field of importing from Europe and Germany. So when you tell me, sir, that no, we have to test everything, so now not only are you burdening the Gambian people, for 28 years, we've never had a single problem. Someone somewhere has caused the problem, and we are now paying the price for actually following the rules, registering our products, bringing in everything, and as Gambians, making sure we're serving our Gambian people. So I totally disagree with you, Honorable Sir, that there's no need to test something that is rigorously pre-tested in country of origin. What your jobs are is to make sure the MCA sees the proper MHRA, GPA practice and wholesale distribution certificates of these people to lift the burden. We are literally an attachment of a pharmacy in England, but located in Gambia. That's exactly what we are, because we cannot buy from manufacturers. At the moment, I'm going to give you the joke. I am the smallest probably in wholesale. I don't do wholesale, I do mostly retail. But at the moment, it took MCA a whole week to collect samples because I have 5 consignments of maybe 15, 20 boxes each. They have collected over 200,000 worth of product. And within that 200,000 worth of product, where maybe all of them is $50,000 pounds, it's going to cost me over $200,000 to test. So they collected creams, whatever, as he said. You look at Calpol, I did get an original bill of 11 products of cough mixtures. Not the Indian, with all respect to the Indian, as they said, Indian provides a 50. I'm getting to the 3rd layer. And I was billed for Benylin, Beecham's, Calcough, Calpol, which now, Honorable Sir, is in the shelves in England being sold. And I'm told to pay $15,000 for that presently, whilst I wait the $200,000. So as he all said, none of us are going to be able to stay open. And unless if they think we're dealing with narcotics and cocaine, I don't know what they presume we're selling, but only someone who's dealing with that, well, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think anyone here is dealing with this. The other thing I'm very impressed with, Doctor, he said, you've got 3 tiers in the Indian market. And for them to say that the products, sorry Mahawa, you're gonna get angry with me, the products came in and had certificates of analysis is absolutely right. They did. But where do we know which tier did this company fall into? Was it one of the reputable ones, or was it one of the ones right bottom where anything can be forged? The other comment is where I would give a recommendation. I mean, for England, we've already spoken to the British Embassy to try and say something that these are already, and the word he used, they are rigorously tested in use in England, and now we are kindly giving it so that we can access it for our Gambian people. In the past, when I did bring in from a company called Bliss Pharmaceuticals in India, as a Gambian, knowing that you don't have testing facilities here, my way of sleeping at night is by making sure that that particular company is registered in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Liberia, in Freetown, and in Dakar. Why, sir? Because they have the testing facilities. And they can then guarantee for me, we did bring in the certificates of analysis, and yes, we have registered all the products. And this is the way we say, is that company, the one that brought in, was it registered somewhere else? Was it in any neighboring country? Was there a missite somewhere that should have been looked at? And I think, Dr. Ismaila, you are I think we've covered everything. So
I just want to add the fact that Gambia also has the jurisdiction to sue some of these distributors for harm caused in our country. Yes. Like today, if any place that I procure medication from causes harm to the Gambian people, I will be suing that company and that entity from the USA because of harm that they cause to the Gambian people. Because it's a failure of oversight on their end that the Gambian people are suffering from. But also part of the conversation, how are we holding the Indian government responsible for harm that is being caused on this continent.
I'll conclude very quickly and say that as we speak here, honorable gentlemen, for the past, we were already 4 weeks into quarantine, and then we finally managed, after not getting anywhere, sorry, with our honorable minister, with all due respect to him, but he was not listening, we finally got an audience with our president, who was extremely cordial and listened and actually tried to find a solution. But then it went back to the honorable minister, and they were given another 4 weeks to actually say, you either test, if I correct me wrong, or we free it. Like these quarantine, especially products like you're talking about, the British that are already pre-tested. This is now the 8th week. And every day that we are in the pharmacy, sir, I have, as I tell them, he will know, our uncles, our aunties, our grandmothers coming in from Layla, what do you want? You want to make a blind? I know get me glaucoma, I know get me zalatan. What can you answer these people? Not only do we not have medication for children, but now we don't have medication for anybody. We're running out of everything. So as we speak, we would really, really plead on you to make sure that these people understand that whilst thinking he's making the rules to protect the Gambian people, he's actually put the lives at risk of the rest of the Gambian people, not only the children. I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Is it Layla?
Layla.
Yes, thank you very much, and we appreciate your submission.
Thank you.
But one thing we are all definitely interested in this. It is very unfortunate, and one thing we should learn from this is the way forward. How do we solve this problem and move out of it, and we move on to our normal life regarding drugs and pharmacies and whatever. And I think that is the main reason why we are here. We are very happy to hear your side of the story. As I said earlier, we are living within the communities. I have heard of this several times. I have been with attempts personally in my capacity to see how we can do this. But officially, we are just receiving this. And then with regards to the substance of the importance of the and I can assure you, the committee will do all what is necessary, because our task is very well defined. Once we lay all these things will be included, we'll come up with possible recommendations in that regard. Honourable members, I beg on your indulgence to allow them to please speak, then later on we will comment. Please, just understand. Yes,
Chair, I beg you. I'm sorry, you know there are issues. If they go now, we will not place. I beg. I beg. You know, if you
give it, please,
I beg. No, just allow me, I beg.
Thank you very much. Chairman, Honorable Chairman, and other members of this committee, Health Select Committee. I'm very happy to be here. I'm glad that you have invited us for this meeting, which looks very, very healthy. We've been contributing.
I think your mic is going. Why don't you put
Is it? Yeah, I know. Okay, can you hear me now? Thank you very much. I must say, I was born in this profession. My father started it 52 years ago. I know the family. I mean, never imported Indian products. They're all made in India. When you hear of Khaju Jara, it's a household name. Khaju Jara from Sijabot. We are the first. Nothing India, all from England or the US. So my greatest concern here, let me first apologize, extend my condolences on behalf of the Pharmaceutical Society of the Gambia to relatives who have lost their children and loved ones, which is very sad. It happened, and it should never happen, naturally. But what are we here for today? That is to know why it happened and what should be the way forward. That's what they want to know. I must commend, which some people might not like, the Medicines Control Agency and the Pharmacy Council. They have done a lot. How many countries can detect it in a short time? It has been happening, and some of them were sweeping it under the carpet. But Gambians were so bold, they came out to find what the Mandinka said, kisi, what is wrong, until they got the result that it was AKI. So I'm commending even the Ministry of Health. It was not an easy job. Nigeria had it, I was there, and it reappeared again. on 2 occasions for this paracetamol syrup. So the Gambian government, have to be very, very glad that the MCA and Pharmacy Council did a very good job. It was not easy, but they defended themselves and they found out the actual cause of the AKI. And next we have to, when I came here initially from the US, I studied in the US about 42 years ago. I graduated in the US with a pharmacy degree. And I was employed by the Ministry of Health. I was the only pharmacist in the whole country with a Ghanaian consultant, working from Banjul to Koina, at times up to 1 o'clock in the night. Yes, I could attest to that. And other senior health personnel could attest to that. So when I saw the situation on ground, I told the then director, they're all gone. I said, you don't have a quality control laboratory. I can come from anywhere and dump medicines here. He said the government cannot afford. If we had had those in place from 40 years ago, this would not have happened. All we deal with is just the certificate of analysis, and the pharmacists are doing their job. If you don't have equipment, how can you address all these problems? Right now we have the personnel. I know some pharmacists have gone for master's degree. Give them a mini lab and they'll do all the tests right here. I can access to that. I can. We have about 3-4 of them who can perform this test here. You don't have to go to Ghana, Senegal. No, you can do it right here. You start small and then you grow into a bigger volume. That will stop this reoccurrence of this AKI. And I know that if we have all in place, AKI will never happen. Nigeria, they had the first exposure of this paracetamol poisoning. Then NAFDAC had to augment their equipment during the days of Dora Akuni. And that was what stopped all this reoccurrence of this, since they had the last one, it never happened again, not only for paracetamol, but also other medicines. And NAFDAC has been scrutinizing all products. So the Gambia, we have to do that. Or else, I'm not saying it might go again. I'm telling you, even if you don't have these measures in place. So you are here, you have to advise the government to come up with a laboratory. Laboratory is very, very key. Very key. I said it 40 years ago, I'm mentioning it again today. We need laboratory in this country. So I leave the floor to my other colleagues to buttress what I'm saying.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
He said you have to swear.
Yes.
My name is Sari Jallo, the CEO of Sun Pharmacy. It's the newest in town. I'll discuss on the causes of the AKI. I would urge your committee not to limit yourself only to the drugs. You should extend it to other things, such as the foods kids consume, these chocolates, chips, and they go on. It should expand, it should be broadened, not just limited to only the drugs. My other contribution will be on the impact AKI will have on the Gambian population. As of today, it already instill fear into the Gambian population. Very well now, those who work in the hospital, retail pharmacy, they know very well. Every now and then, you have mothers, patients, customers will come and ask you, do you have Indian drugs? If it is Indian drug, I'm not going to consume them. Already, there is fear in the population. There is an impact, I guess. The second one will be shortage of medications. And this shortage of medication will lead to complications of conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, asthma, and the like, since there is no drugs that will control them. There are certain anti-hepatitis drugs that have already been out of market. They are no more in the market. And I would like some of you to even to go and buy more paracetamol. For the very near future, maybe in 1 week or 2 weeks time to come, there will be no paracetamol in town. And it's the commonest commodity that we have in the pharmacy. For your information, there will be no paracetamol. We have a lot of containers that are stocked at the ports, they are not clear. We have them there, we have paracetamol, we have aspirin 75 milligram, which hypertension patient use is going out of stock. We have enalapril that is not available in town. And some people cannot go without medication. These medications are already in town, but they are not in the market. And that can affect people more than the 70. We are not on the estimated number, or we are on the rate in the 70 number. But if we don't take precautions, this will lead to more complications. So my recommendations also, the government should establish a lab, as they said. That should be. And there should be also antidotes of all the drugs that are imported into the country, in all hospitals, antidotes. Any drug that is imported in the country should have an antidote in the hospital place in case of any emergency, in case of any reaction, so that they can go and use the antidote for that drugs. Right now, we have the ministry, they are just passing laws that are going to affect everybody. For me, only six products, I'm charged at 7,200 for 6 products. Some of them, in fact, I finished them in my stock. I don't have them. $7,200. Only 6 products. Three among them, I don't have them in my stock right now. So what am I going to do with that test? So that's my recommendation. That's my.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, yes. I'm just being informed that have you took the affirmation?
No.
Yeah, let's allow the secretary to do that, please.
I am Tijan Jallo. I do hereby affirm that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Honorable, and colleague stakeholders. I'm Tijan Jallo, a pharmacist by profession that specializes on quality control and quality assurance, and I'm also into public health. But I'm just here in the capacity as a member of the Pharmaceutical Society of the Gambia. So pertaining to this AKI issue and the way forward, as we have been loading day in, day out, science is evidence-based and it's based on facts and evidence. So pertaining to the way forward, we know there are a lot of things that have been going in and out. And our colleague stakeholders here, they have said almost everything. Ismaila, Leila, and the rest. I don't want to quote all the names, but they have all said it all. So it is a concern as a Gambian that the general public, right now they are struggling, they are running out of scarcity of these basic essential medicines due to a lot of restriction that is going on by a directive from the Ministry of Health. Well, I believe our main concern here is to ensure that poor person in Kuwait to have access to essential medicines. As my brother just stated here, like in a couple of weeks to come, even the easiest accessible analgesic paracetamol might run out of stock. So I believe these are things that you guys sitting in this position right now, you should try to advise the government the way forward.
to tackle these challenges as our families are struggling and most of them can have access to medicines. So pertaining to the AKI issue, as they were talking about testing and so on and so forth, yes, in different countries they follow different procedures of analyzing medicines. You can't test all the medicines at once, but you follow certain procedures to collect samples and analyze them. You can collect samples randomly, or you can collect samples by convenient sampling, or you can collect samples by systematic way, where you can test all the medicines at once. Even in the most stringent regulatory body on earth, can test all the medications at once, due to a lot of things that I don't want to go further on here because I might be using certain jargons that will be like Greek to some of us. So pertaining to the society as pharmacists, we know a lot of things have been going on that pharmacists have not been supervising outlets. And some people have not been going to outlets. We all know the main challenge that is in this country. And we know we are a third world country, and due to scarcity of resources, especially human resources in this area of profession as pharmacists, we have few pharmacists. As we speak now, we only have 30 registered pharmacies. Currently, few pharmacists wrote their professional exams, and they will also be registered and they will kickstart. So, but the number still now is scarce. As per international standard, a pharmacy should be equivalent to 200 patients. But as of now in the Gambia, talking about only 30 pharmacists, over 2 million, it is not balanced. So one thing I will first appeal is for you guys to push for the establishment of the pharmacy school one, so that we train more personnel. The moment we have personnel, then we will be able to segregate responsibilities. Others will specialize on regulations, others in community, others in hospitals, others in academia. The second thing is about the time they have been eluding pharmacists to be supervising. We all know, ideally in a wholesale outlet, it is stated that a person should be there 2 hours. And in a retail, 4 hours a day. That's the ideal norm, provided you have the numbers as per WHO standard. But practically, that cannot happen or apply in the country because we don't have the number. Because these the same people that are serving, sacrificing for the country are the same people that are also overseeing those outlets. But the measures that we take in place is to make sure, like, with our stakeholders, the providers of the business, they employ qualified medical personnel, because those personnel that are working with them are the same personnel that are working in our various health facilities. And the reason why we allow them to employ them is because they get the requisite knowledge and competence to attend to patients, because these are the same people that are attending to patients in our various health facilities. And due to the advancement of technology nowadays, we heard about telehealth or telemedicine. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and sit in that outlet for 4 hours or 2 hours a day, while you have another responsibility due to the scarcity of pharmacists in the country. You are serving the country. The moment you have technology, you are communicating and they employ the right personnel there. If you are engaged with the government, because that's your primary work, you cannot leave that and go and sit in an outlet for 4 hours, 8 hours. All our stakeholders here are very compliant, and we really applaud them, and they are doing their part. And they make sure they employ the right personnel. Some of them are even medically oriented. They are well competent and they know what they are doing and they employ the right people. We know during the COVID era, all of us now, thanks to God, we are not putting on nose masks, face masks. Before we are to put it on. People were conducting operations by video calls. People were attending lectures by Zoom. People were doing a lot of things using telemedicine. So what matters, you employ the right people and the work to be done. Due to the advancement of technology, someone can be even in England or United States, he can log in and do the work. It doesn't necessarily mean the person has to be there, but you have to put a mechanism to ensure that the right people are there. Another thing that I will appeal is for you guys to push on for the lab. These people are, everyone here is pushing for that. The reason why you are seeing all these prices, $1,000, $1,400 for a product or a share, is because we don't have it in the country here. And if WHO pre-qualified labs are engaged and they send a quotation on that, which MCA have to clarify. That one is on this side of MCA. I believe Mr. Chairman have already said here, they had a lot of engagement with MCA, which I believe they have already clarified to them. But if the lab is available in the country, as far as we have people with the requisite knowledge and competency to do the work here, I believe people won't be paying $1,000 or $1,400. Another thing that I will also want to talk of is pertaining to the AKI that we are all talking of here. All these importers, we know, they are complying to the laws and regulations that governs pharmacy practice in this country. But if this lab is not around, I myself, I can produce a certificate of analysis. Everyone here, if you know, you can do it. But if we don't have the lab to ascertain what is in that certificate of analysis, you won't confirm what they put there, whether it's right or wrong. So the way forward to prevent this from happening is the government should establish a lab. And we are glad we had that World Bank have already pledged some funds for it to be established. But pertaining to the testing of these products, as pharmacists, random sampling can be done, convenience sampling or systematic sampling, because our fear is we have to focus on the 5 key link of health issues to attend to the universal health coverage. This one 2030. One thing we have to bear in mind, we have to make sure like essential medicines are available. Another thing, they also need to be accessible. If they are accessible, we also need to make sure like they are acceptable. They might be accessible, but if the cost is so high, obviously, no matter how it is accessible, you won't be able to buy it. You won't be able to afford it. So you won't be able to accept it because even though you want it, but you can't buy it. Another thing that we also need to put in place, the product have to be of high quality. You all know all these importers here. And we as pharmacists, no one have intention to bring any bad medicine in the country. Because the primary aim here is to safeguard what? The public. But to ascertain that quality, to going back to the lab. So for this thing to function effectively and efficiently, that lab need to be there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And then last from stakeholders, we'll hear from Dr. Or if we do to decline, we'll hear from the
Thank you very much. All the honorable members, members of the association, members of the Pharmaceutical Society of the Gambia. We thank the committee responsible for health, the National Assembly, for giving us the opportunity to come and as stakeholders to see our own part of the story as far as the AKI is concerned. So we are very grateful to the Committee of Health of the National Assembly for giving us that chance. It is unfortunate we have an incident like this AKI in our country. Nobody pray for it. And I have believed that all stakeholders, the government, who are the main stakeholders, their structures, MCA, Pharmacy Council, and we the importers. Nobody wants a situation like this. But when a situation happens like this, there's a problem. And when there's a problem, we should look for a solution. But we shouldn't try to add up the problem. And I'm very sorry if I may use a language which may not be used in this honorable house. We should try, when we are making decisions concerning problems that are affecting our nation, we should make sure that we don't lose our emotional intelligences. Because at times when you are emotional and you try to take certain decisions, the decision may go against you while you are not aware of it because you've not been able to control your emotions. And we have to regulate this country. As we all know, pharmaceutical industry worldwide is the most dynamic and most regulated industry worldwide. And Gambia cannot be an exception to that. That being the case, we all intend the good for our country. If anybody have any other intention for this country, then that would be very unfortunate. So when we are regulating things in this country, we have to make sure that we look at our capacity also, what we can do. This $1,400 we are quoting and say that we are testing products in this country. Each batch, I did my calculation, over 800 products are to be tested. And all those products are either syrups or suspension. Multiplying that by 800 by $1,400, that will give you $1,125,000 if my mathematics is correct. That $1,125,000, exporting it to another foreign country, that can at least help us to build a lab in this country. So when we are in a situation like this, we have to make sure that our emotion don't lead us to do something that will really affect our nation. To my fellow importers, the purpose of this association, we formed this association in 2017, and we have an objective of forming this association. And one of the primary objectives of forming this association is to ensure that we bring quality product at the right time to the Gambians, at the right price. Because if you bring products into this country, even if it is the right product, the right quality, but if people cannot afford it, then it becomes a problem. So if you try to solve a problem, you have to make sure that you bring ideas, things that can solve the problem. But if you come up with ideas or other things that you think that they can solve the problem, And if it doesn't solve the problem, then you are creating more problem than you are creating more harm than good. So for that being the case, we are as the stakeholders, the importers, we have a role to play. The National Assembly has a role to play. The executive also have a role to play. Honorable Chairman, please allow me just to conclude what I want to say to my fellow importers. Let us make sure that when we are bringing product into this country, our sourcing should be very, very genuine, which is very, very important. If we find ourselves in this problem, maybe we did not take due diligence in sourcing for where we get our products. And let us all accept the truth. Something has happened. This AKI issue is rather unfortunate. You know, I feel so sad being the president of the Pharmaceutical Association of this country, and this AKI is related to drugs. So I feel so bad, I feel so sad for the people who lost their loved ones. But let our emotion also not take us for me not to have a solution to this problem. Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman, for allowing our association to come here and deliberate on this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As I keep saying, we appreciate all your submissions as a committee. We have a mandate we will work to meet for that mandate. We thank you so much for following our invitation. So now, honorable members, if you have any further clarification, now is the time to ask. But let's remember we are already behind time, and remember we are also in session. Just briefly, if you have any further clarification before we release it.
All right. Can I take this one?
Yes, Honorable Barrow.
Thank you very much. We want talking to us who represent the people, understanding that this is a circumstance that is going to prevail in 2 weeks or so. It's something that we are not going to accept. I will through the chairman, we will summon an emergency meeting to the minister to make sure that the people will not suffer because of this thing. We are going to do that because we represent people, and the same people are coming back to us, and it's something that we cannot accept. I will best as to tell you this. And the other issue is, the other issues that I want to talk about, we've been talking about testing. We are learning. I raised a question that I should not have people here. I asked MCA, is there any potential that you can have a benchmark in trying to bring drugs that are safe? And I give them suggestions. With reference to another country that is using it, that have all these things. I give them suggestions. And then these are all videos. But I'm really touched. I'm also a pharmacy technician by background. I'm really touched to understand that medications are already in the ports, denied to the people. And then that is meaning that there are a lot of conditions that will even come as a result of that. And we never know that as people represented it. It's coming to us as news. I believe that people should know where to go to address that one. We are the solutions to all problems in this country. That's what National Assembly members believe. So, but if problems are not brought to us, we will not know that. And now this one is brought to us, my chairman can understand, everybody is feeling this thing. And then to my surprise, where are these laws coming from? All laws are made in the assembly. And you are telling us laws, we enacted the MCA, where are these laws coming from? This was in parliament. So if you are telling us there are other laws, and that we are not privy to, I believe something needs to be done. Chair, with due respect, I think we need to summon an emergency meeting to the minister to ensure that these problems are solved. We cannot accept our people to suffer out of drugs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, for giving me the opportunity. I think we all felt what we heard from you people. And we are together in this issue. That's a sort. Thank you. Inshallah, there will be solution.
Thank you very much.
So, one thing I wanted to verify is, was this issue really discussed with the authorities? Or did you present your challenges, your problem, your confusions to the concerned authorities? I have somebody saying that we have discussed with one.
We have
heard somebody saying that we have discussed with the Honorable Minister, we have discussed with the President. Well, I think the authority here is MCA. Did you discuss with them? Did you talk to them, your challenges, your problems?
Can I answer?
Yeah. Anyone can answer.
Okay. Yes, doctor.
Yeah, I forgot to introduce myself at the beginning of my deliberation. My name is Dr. Hussein Kausu Mahanira. I'm a pharmaceutical professional and also a businessman. So this issue is not that we've communicated with MCA several times. We've had meetings with them concerning this issue, and we tell them our challenges and our difficulties that we are facing. But we realized that MCA was not able to solve the problem. Then we wrote to the Honorable Minister, we met with him, we discussed the issue with him, we see to it that there was no problem. And that was the time we said, let us also put the National Assembly in picture. That was the time we wrote to you people and tell you people our concern. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Somehow. Thank you.
He also asked with the question.
Huh?
He also asked whether you made the question.
Somebody said that.
Somebody answered that.
But you are okay now, Honorable?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm not
Yes,
okay unless
Honorable.
until the problems are solved.
No, thank you so much. Honorable Bani?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good afternoon to you all. Thank Pharmacy Council and the Pharmacy Importers Association. Before I go into any of this, I want to clarify from Doctor. You mentioned that there are 3 tiers of ranking with regards to producers, where you export from, where you import from India. I think we as a committee can probe into this, but if this is ascertained, can you just explain
No,
these
I
3?
just wanted to highlight that the India drug supply chain is multi-layered.
Yes.
They have a layer that's almost like a premium layer that supplies a lot of medications to Europe and UK. Because the thing is, generic medications from a scientific standpoint.
What I want to establish is these layers. Is it regulated by? Is it established as a layer at their level in India?
No, it's informal layers.
That's what I want to establish.
Yes.
It's informal. Yes. Coming to it's alarming to realize, like the chairman has said, we have just come to realize some of these arrangements or the regulations that the NCA has just put on you is indeed alarming. And hearing that pharmacies that have been in existence for 40 years, 40-something years, Banjul Pharmacy, Malak Chemis, and all those things that are very repeatable, and then they're into this, and they are all going to bear the brunt of this is frightening. And I think that wouldn't be a good approach. Of course, somebody said, certificate of analysis from the origin, certificate of origin and analysis from the producing country should be accepted. I think cases can be accepted, but that does not stop us from the country, receiving country, to have our own lab and test it again. Because otherwise, like I said it in front of the ministry, we are going to be left at the mercy of the producers, and to tell that we need to have our own lab. And in fact, at some point I said, you cannot leave it to World Bank. Before World Bank comes into play, it doesn't take much to have our own facilities in a building to start testing. Like somebody said, we start small and grow. That's what we should do. I align myself with this thing. And also, to test doesn't necessarily mean you have to test everything. Like somebody said, you take samples, random samples and other samples. It makes sense to do it that way than to say every drug that comes in. Every consignment some samples should be taken, yes. But again, to just say we have to test and we are testing outside the Gambia, and the importers will bear the cost of the testing, I think that's unreasonable. Because what happens, even if you do not close, that cost that is added, you will add it on the product. So the Gambian people, instead of making medicine affordable and accessible to them, we are making it more expensive. And this is what every government is trying to avoid. The reason why they give subsidy to fuel is to make fuel affordable. The reason why they subsidize farmers is to make their living conditions better. So we cannot, medicine as it is, it cannot be costly to the extent that the poor people cannot afford it. I don't know what is the reasoning behind that policy, but like I said, we don't have to preempt our engagements with them. This is something like the chair and his committee will look into. And there is something that could be done to this because it's not rational. It's not rational, in my own opinion. That is not the opinion of the committee. And then we implore on you. Some of you who said you are thinking of closing down, I think that a solution can be found. You know, I don't think, you know, we all come together and work together as a team. You are partners in development, you are stakeholders, you are in it. The solution lies within us. Do not step aside and say, I'm going to close down. Let's follow it, because the service you are doing it for the Gambian people, you know, for the community and the people you serve. And then we still pursue what you have to pursue to ensure that we serve the Gambia collectively. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
for me, no problem. I just want to make just a little contribution. Like as some of you have just highlighted in your narrations that is it the certificate of report or what of all analysis that you got from the importer. Now, the question that I want to ask: do you, in any time, receive certificate of testing from MCA?
No, we haven't. No.
Yeah, because to me, the reason why I'm asking this question, because to me it's confusing. Yeah, because you people are saying that like this is the amount of money that is attached to each of you, the people imported, that you're supposed to pay this particular amount of money. Now already when that payment is done,
We haven't paid.
you haven't paid it?
Yes, because no one can afford it, and obviously we can't get it tested. They want us to pay before we test.
So meaning, am I right to say that the drugs that were used before were in circulation? They haven't undergone any testing?
They have, sir. Sorry, can I answer that, please? So remember when we spoke, there were two types of markets, the European and the Indian. So if you're ordering from a manufacturer, then these products are supposed to be tested, sir, before coming into the country. The batch that's coming is tested. That's the certificate of analysis.
Yes, I understand. What I'm saying,
yeah.
No, what I'm saying, the drugs that are in circulation in the country before this Aki, before the Aki issue arises.
Yes.
Meaning, our people, we are consuming the drugs without undergoing any testing.
Well, for us, I can say, that's what I'm saying. For me, I can speak from whatever was brought in was pre-tested. It's pre-tested and then with certificate
From
of
the manufacturer.
analysis. Absolutely, sir. That's why it's called.
What I'm saying.
I think
Has anyone tested it here?
Yes.
No, sorry.
It's actually a very important question, but just take it as is like our initial engagements, especially with that of MCA. Probably he was absent, he was on pressure. But as the committee is concerned, what he's asking for whether the drugs that are currently in circulation in the country, whether they have been tested. There are different explanations to this because there are different ways drugs come to this country. That we all have to understand. The issue of Malak and others, that's a special issue. The issue of others importing from manufacturers too. Nobody will import from a manufacturer when you don't have proof this is being tested, and that's where the certificate of analysis comes. So that is something which is already guaranteed. But what happened already is this is a special issue, whereas a proof of test was given, and unfortunately, what is in the certificate does not reflect what is in the product. That's where the problem lies. But regardless, with other products, according to submission from MC and the Indara Pharmacy Council, all products that came, they come with their valid certificate of analysis that indicate they have been tested, they have undergone this from manufacturing to so and so and so. All the processes have been observed. But this one is a special issue. So I don't want us to go into that deeply because I know we'll be inviting MCA again, and even the Pharmacy Council will be inviting them. We can be asking them all these questions and here and there so that they can clarify it better. But to be fair enough to the importers, because I know sometimes if you answer some of these questions, you might be emotional. To be fair enough to them, I think it's better we just serve the question for the time. We will get it answered when the honorable member is not satisfied with if he can get an answer by the concerned authorities, I can assure you. So thank you very much on that. And then unless I want to give the opportunity to one of the SMS maybe to say something as a word of advice. Maybe one of you, just 1 or 2 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Galvia. The whole committee is relieved from your submissions of what you said. A lot of things are very clear. But the clear message that is coming that there is an urgency to address this issue of quarantine medications at the port and this issue of clarifying about this testing of the general. If those things are solved immediately, and I will urge the committee to invite the minister, we tackle this thing immediately. Otherwise, bigger problem will come more than acting.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, for me, I would just commend all of you for giving us the information that, of course, we were expecting from you. But in that regards also, we must also establish something. Because for me personally, I really want to know when exactly this bill, that is the bill that was given to some of these pharmacies, was given to them. Because it is important when communicating to the authorities, more particularly the ministry, to base the communication as far as the facts are concerned. Because this was not happening before. And why now? So we must know why now. So in that regards, if you can provide us with the date when this was sent to you as a bill that you're supposed to pay, so that it can also help us to be able to have a very cordial discussion with them. Let us also understand one thing. As far as I am concerned, this committee is being mandated by the Assembly to make inquiry in terms of AKI, which is indeed very important. But looking at it in depth, you will come to realize that what we want as a committee is to put in place a proper healthcare system, which is indeed very important. And we cannot do that without working with you, the stakeholders. So in that regards, always put it at the back of your minds that we are in this together. And this is something that we cannot just sit back as the apex authority, you understand, being given the mandate by the Constitution of this country to perform oversight function over all government institutions, including the Office of the President, sitting down and not to do anything about this. We will do all what we can as a committee, I believe, with the leadership of the chair, and make sure that we do the needful, so that at the end of the day, all of us will see to it that there is a proper healthcare system in this country. Thank you.
It's been a long day already. We initially started with not only finishing 2 hours, but unfortunately we have to go 2 hours 30 minutes. But that is fine. I believe each and every one of us here is here for the same hope and share the same commitment, so we have a very good solution to this current problem. The problem is already there. There is nothing we can do but to find solution to it, and we move forward. And then we appreciate your comment, we appreciate your submissions, and for us, if any of you in your own individual capacity or from your own maybe pharmacy, you have anything from that concern that you want to relate to the committee, or those are open, you can always reach out, be it face to face or be it telephone or whatever. You can always reach out, or those are open. We are ready to dialogue, we are ready to listen to every concern Gambians in regards to this issue and even other general issues affecting the system. Or those are open. You can always reach out, please. We are sort of that. And then once again, I thank you so much, and then honorable members, on behalf of the honorable members and the assemblyman especially, the other clerk. We appreciate your coming once again. I can assure you, all that you said here, we will put it in the record. All the evidence you submit, we put it in the record. At the end of the day, we are going to prepare a record and submit it to the plenary. It will come up with recommendations. And in the meantime, there is an issue that is already on the table. I can assure you, we will do all the needful to make sure we engage the relevant authorities and we see how we can find a solution to it. That will be assured of it. So on that note, and on behalf of the National Assembly, I declare this meeting closed and you are released. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.